Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I'm Lindsay Parker from Yahoo Entertainment, like the gentleman said. Welcome to what is going to be a really exciting and intimate night at the Grammy Museum, a really rare chance to be with this rare talent in such a small space. The new album by Willow, Coping Mechanism, is coming out soon, October 7th. And I have had the great honor to already get a chance to listen to it repeatedly, and I know it's actually going to be in my top 10 albums for this year. It is a monster of an album, and I'm thrilled. Like I said, you know, she's going to be on SNL in just a couple weeks. This is a really rare opportunity to sit down, hear some songs by her, so let's just bring her out. Without further ado, Willow.
Hey, guys. Wow, this is awesome.
The shoes.
Man, this is quite a decision. You know,
it's the right decision.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank you.
Well, congratulations again on the album Coping Mechanism.
Thank you.
Spent a lot of time with it. It's great.
Honestly, I'm just so grateful to be able to put this album out, and I honestly feel like it's some of the most honest work I've ever done. So I'm really excited.
Well, let's talk about that. Obviously, the album that came out last year, Lately I Feel Everything, was a breakthrough for you. It got great reviews. It was only last year. You must be on such a creative tear because you had the self-titled album in 2019, then you had The Anxiety in 2020,
yes.
Then you had Lately last year, and already now another album. You must be like really on a... What's going on that's got you so creatively fired up?
It's crazy. I feel like I used to release an album like every 2 years. Like back in the day, it was like every 2 years. But now it's looking like every year, and I feel like I'm just finding kind of just more of my voice, like finding my voice in the studio and allowing myself to work with more people. I feel like before I kind of only relied on myself. You know, I would get in the studio and it would just be me and an engineer, and I just had to figure it out. So I feel like the level of creative input and like mental input was just so intense that I needed to just take time off. But now that I'm just expanding and working with new people and kind of just feeling out other people's vibes and allowing them to inspire me, I feel like I have more energy, like creative energy to make more awesome work. So I'm super excited about that.
As we all are.
Thank you.
So it was interesting when I was getting all the press releases and stuff studying up to this interview. I thought it was interesting that you were nominated for Best New, I'm emphasizing the word new, Alternative Artist at the iHeartRadio Awards this year. And then you were named the Comeback Artist of the Year by Billboard last year.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a new artist.
That's what I'm saying. You've been doing this for more than half of your life.
Yeah, it's coming up on 11 years now.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
So how do you feel about the fact that people are calling you a new artist or a comeback artist? Do you feel like you're in an era of rebirth or tearing it all, rip it up, start it again?
I feel like I've never really fit in any categories, and I think that is the issue. I think people don't really know how to categorize me, and so sometimes they categorize me in not the right way, which is all good. You know, I stand 10 toes down on who I am, and I've been here for a while, and I'm you know, I feel like I'm pretty authentic when you see me and listen to my music. So I feel like I speak for myself, and that's kind of really all I have to say about that.
Well, what I think is interesting is I've read, and so like I said, I studied up, and I read in some interviews you've said that when you kind of started to go in a more rock direction, which is awesome, of course, that like you got some pushback either from the label. Well, tell me about that, because that kind of ties into what you were saying about the categorization thing.
Of course. For a long time, I did music that, was a little bit more, I would say my music is melodic still, and I still bring that vocal element, but it definitely wasn't as hard as the music that I'm doing now, like as in the guitars and sort of, that heavier, darker feeling. On my first album, Artipithecus, actually on my second album, the first, I had a song called Human Leech on there with 7 strings, and there was growling, and a lot of the songs on Artipithecus were very guitar driven. And I think that people just sort of chose not to focus on that side of my music and kind of chose to focus more on the melodic, more R&B, neo-soul side of my music, when there was a lot of inspiration there from the beginning. And so I just feel like now I'm kind of coming more into that side of myself that has always been there, but I think people didn't really choose to focus on that when I was first starting out.
So what did kind of push you more in like the decidedly rock direction?
I started really falling in love with the guitar. And when I started playing the guitar, I just started listening to a lot of guitar-driven music. And, you know, when I was younger, my mom was in a metal band called Wicked Wisdom.
I so want to talk about this, because you went on Ozfest when you were like 5
I was there. I was there, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah, I'm so excited to talk about Ozfest with you.
It was so beautiful. And I think for a long time, you know, I saw my mom struggle with a lot of pushback, a lot of racist and sexist, just white men coming at her and telling her that she couldn't be, you know, in this space, but she kind of stood up and did it anyway. And so that was so inspiring to me. And really, that was always in the back of my mind. And I always loved rock, but I feel like my love for the guitar, as I spent more time with it, it just spoke to me, and I wanted to go more in that direction.
Yeah, rock gatekeepers suck. That rock has to be, let's face
it,
a white male
we said it
thing.
here. It's definitely been a heavily dominated white male kind of arena for a while, but if you do your research, you know, there's many, many beautiful people of color who kind of, you know, steamrolled the genre in a beautiful way. Sister Rosetta Tharpe was playing the electric guitar in the 1940s. And people don't really talk about that. So, you know, I feel like if we do our research and we really love music and we really want to look at the beginnings of these things, I think we find some beautiful things.
So I want to talk more about the Ozfest thing, because
Yes.
I think that must have been such an amazing experience, an experience a lot of kids would dream about. So like, as you said, your mother was in Wicked Wisdom. I don't think a lot of people know that. Probably a lot of people here know that. But in general, people may not know that.
Yeah, it's not very popular knowledge.
Yeah.
But she was out there. She was on Ozfest. She did it for many, many years, and you know, she loved it, and she did it with her entire heart. Even though, as I said before, she did come across a lot of pushback. But me seeing her as a little child, you know, people screaming racial slurs at her, and while she's on stage, booing her, throwing stuff at her. It felt like she was doing activism. Like, I felt like I'm seeing activism right in front of my eyes, and it kind of taught me that music isn't just music. Music is meant to push the culture. Music is meant to illuminate things about society and kind of evolve humankind. I feel like music has been at the center of a lot of Earth's biggest cultural changes. And at a very young age, that was clear to me because I just saw it right there. It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary, but it made me value the craft in a way that if I hadn't seen that, I don't feel like it would have gone as deep.
I mean, that sucks that happened to her, but do you have fond memories of seeing the opposite, where like maybe she comes on, and it's also because obviously she's mainly known as an actress, so there's also that other layer of skepticism.
Totally.
So she comes out, and then you see her win over the crowd, where first people are
my
like, "This
goodness.
is gonna suck," and
So
then they're
much,
like, "Yeah."
There were so many people that didn't want to like it, but just had to love it. Like it was so beautiful to see, like the change of people's minds, like the change of people's hearts, and that I feel like is true activism, when you can reach in there and touch somebody who you didn't think before that you could touch in such a deep place. And every night, you know, it was just so beautiful to see that.
So that was your first kind of going on Ozfest, was kind of your first experience of seeing what touring is like, right?
Yes.
Did you I don't know how old you were, maybe 5 or so?
I was with her like 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And, you know, being on tour with her in such, you know, insane places, the memories are kind of fuzzy, but the main feeling that I remember is feeling so close to her and feeling like us against the world. Like me, my mom, and Jaden all on that tour bus, you know, together. It just felt like it was us against the world. And that feeling is priceless.
Did any of the bands that were on that tour kind of take you under their wing? Or did you hang out
there
with
were
Ozzy?
many. Yes, there were many bands who you know took my mom under their wing and was like, "Hey, I know this is rough, but we support you, and you know you rock, and we're here to support you." You know, me being so young, I wish I knew exactly who that was, but there were many, 100%.
So as you kind of make your path in rock, do you feel it's easier now for a woman of color in this world?
I think she came against a lot of like physical violence, like people throwing things at her and like trying to, you know, do crazy things. I think more nowadays it's over the internet. People just want to be mad and talk crap over the internet. I feel like that's a little bit less dangerous than someone in your face like trying to throw a broken bottle at you, like right there. But yeah, you still experience that racism. I posted a riff that I played of a System of a Down song, and the bassist reposted it, and I was so happy. Like I showed my mom, I was like, oh my goodness, like the bassist reposted it. And then I'm looking at the comments, and like all of these old white men are just like bashing it like so crazy, and my heart was just like, wow. Like, and he was in the comments like fighting back, like, unfollow me, bro, like unfollow me, like I don't care if you think, you know what I mean, like he was supporting me, and I was like, yo, like I had to apologize to him. Like I literally was like, I'm sorry that you reposting this, like you got so much flack for it. Like I don't know, for some reason I felt like I had to apologize, but he was like, no, like no. And that was so beautiful. I felt very supported, and you know, you still see those things, and even like, you know, record label executives being like, oh well, is this really the right choice? I don't think we really want to put that much into it, because who knows if that's gonna, you know what I mean? So all of the doubts, but you surmount them with the hard rock, beautiful, spiritual, divine voice that was given to you by the divine, and you just do it.
There you go. Yeah, well said. What other, obviously you've gotten great reviews for the songs that are out now from this album, from the last few albums that have come out, so obviously that respect is there. But what other obstacles, because obviously you're from a showbiz family, I've talked to a lot of second generation musicians like Julian Lennon, whoever.
Totally.
You know, if you got famous parents, you know, it can open some doors, but it can also close some other doors. How have you, you know, dealt with any of that skepticism?
I think my biggest way of just like blasting all of those doors open is really spending time on the craft and really working on my musicianship. You know, if someone can play, they can play, and there's really no in between. And so I feel like when you really, really work on that, it's undeniable. Like they can not like you if they want to, but they can't say you're not talented. You know what I mean? And I think I just really work on my craft, and I just want to focus on that.
Les Claypool from Primus also posted about you.
Oh my God! Literally, I cried. I shed a tear. I mean, Les Claypool, like, come on. Like, I honestly, when I saw that he commented, I just felt like, wow, like, I don't like to take external validation because that can turn into a black hole really, really quickly. But I had to take that slight bit. I had to allow myself to be like, oh, like I feel really validated by this because you're literally my favorite. Wow. And yeah, honestly, I will hold that in my heart forever. And he gave me a nickname. I'm the certified young fiery lass.
Nice. I like it.
So I'm going to hold that with me forever.
So I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but as we talk about the direction that your music's in now, you know, you get mentioned a lot in, you know, a movement of like a return of emo or pop punk, you know, Youngblood, who actually just played the GRAMMY Museum.
Yes.
Gets mentioned, obviously, Machine Gun Kelly, who you just toured with, obviously Olivia Rodrigo. Do you feel you're part of kind of a larger resurgence of this sort of music? What's in the air right now that's bringing this back?
I feel like, you know, specifically people who really care about the evolution of humanity. I know that Youngblood speaks out about a lot of social and political, you know, problems that we have, and I feel like, you know, as a person of color and also as a person who cares about the social and political evolution of Earth and human beings, I feel like we kind of have a what is it? A responsibility to be authentic and to kind of come together and boss up and be like, okay, we care and we're gonna march forward on this intent of love and compassion and growth. And I feel like that's the most beautiful thing ever. You need a team and you need a community in order to make change. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is a beautiful community, and we just care about you guys, and we want to give you great art, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
But for so long, people were saying rock is dead. I, of course, have never believed that, and I think there's plenty of evidence that's not the case. But you know, I see like how much people went crazy when My Chemical Romance reunited.
Totally.
Or the When We Were Young festival. It's happening, I think, this month in Vegas. It sold out like 3 nights, and then, like I said, there's younger artists that are sort of bringing this back or referencing it. Do you have any theories about why it seems like a time now people want to hear guitars again? Your guitars.
I think there's so much happening in the world right now, and rock, the soul of rock is kind of this cry for change and this cry to like see what's happening. I feel like rap and rock kind of have that same foundation of like, some bad things are happening and we're mad about it and we want to express this and we need you to know how we feel. And yes, exactly. And so I feel like it's less about the genre and more about that intent and that underlying feeling that the youth is having right now. The world is not doing too good right now, guys. It's not doing too good right now. I mean, women, people of color have been under attack for so long, but we're seeing it so clearly. And that angers us, and that makes us feel like we need to speak up. And I'm trying to scream, and I'm trying to shred on the guitar to let everyone know we're serious about this.
Were world events of the last, couple of years informing what you wrote about on coping mechanism? With the title alone, sort of implies you were coping with the world.
Oh my goodness, 100%. I think there's so much trauma just in everyday life for us now. Like, we turn on our phones, we see what's happening in Iran, we see what's happening with climate change, we see what's happening with, so many black men and women being killed against their wills, against, all of this crazy stuff is going on. And we're just angry and we want change. And I feel like art is the way to show people that we want change.
Are there particular songs on coping mechanism that you would define as a protest song, kind of in the classic tradition of rock and roll?
I would say on coping mechanism, I'm angry, I'm sad about a lot of different things. I don't think it's very specific, but the soul and the essence is there, and I can't wait for you guys to vibe it.
Well, do you want to do a little lightning round while I go through? There's 11 tracks, and you can just sort of tell me what first comes to mind about when you were writing or what it's about. Amazing. Well, obviously, the single is Maybe It's My Fault. Let's talk about that one.
Whew. Man. Maybe It's My Fault. I feel like, we've all been in love. We all know what it feels like to not know whether the other person is just an asshole or whether you have some deep-seated emotional issues that you need to work out. So definitely some deep-seated emotional issues that need to be worked out there.
Well, I appreciate that, because that's probably not usually the mindset of us. Usually songs, it's more like, it's your fault.
Yeah, I'm not about that. I think I'm a very introspective person, and one of my biggest beliefs is that in order to change the world, we have to change ourselves. And I think that starts... Thank you. And I think that starts with caring about other people's feelings, caring about how we feel, and not blaming ourselves for feeling certain ways, but also having some self-analysis. Like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel like I want to say this to this person? Oh, okay, this person did some crazy stuff. Like, what happened in their life that hurt them so deeply that made them feel like it was okay to do that? Instead of just blaming, like, oh, you're just obviously evil. Like, just stop. You know what I mean? I think I think human beings are more complex than that. So yeah.
Track 2, Falling Endlessly.
You gotta
do that every time I...
Yes, I'm gonna do that every time. The first lyric of that song is, your friends are coming over now. I never liked them, never did, and now I cannot be sober. Fuck the small talk, chatting, sitting down. So basically, I'm just talking about, I don't like fake people. and and I just want to be real. And when I'm around fake people, I feel like I'm just falling endlessly into the abyss of something I don't like. So yeah.
Well, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
People were applauding for that sentiment.
100%.
Curious, Furious, track 3.
So this one is a little bit more, I feel like in the past, I would just be super esoteric. Like every single lyric that I wrote was just like about spirituality and like geometry and like all of these crazy things, which is still my favorite thing of all time. But Curious Furious kind of comes at it from more of an emotional point of view. Like, you know, I'm super curious about the ultimate truth of life itself. But the trials and tribulations that I need to go through, the pain that I need to experience in order to know that highest truth, makes me furious. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go through that. And so it's kind of this dichotomy of like I want to know the truth, but I also don't want to do the work and go through the pain that it takes to know it. Which, you know, you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Very relatable, very relatable. And okay, track 4 is just simply titled Why?
Yeah. Why so many things? Why do we suffer? Why is there so much darkness in the world? Why can't we come together in love and try to accept one another with compassion? Why am I such an asshole? Why so many things? So yeah.
Did you write a lot of this album during the pandemic? Obviously, like in 2020, 21.
It was kind of coming like the back end of the pandemic. I was writing Lately I Feel Everything like stuck in the house. Like Lately I Feel Everything was like I can't go outside. But Coping Mechanism was recorded during a time where, you know, we were kind of going out a little bit more. We could see our friends. We could kind of go to restaurants. So it wasn't as locked in.
So how would the albums lately and this one be different in the sense that the circumstances were a little different in which they were created?
I think it's more about like relationships with the people in our lives. Like Lately I Feel Everything was kind of an analysis of like my mind in a vacuum and just like with nothing else. But I feel like Coping Mechanism is kind of an analysis of me contrasted against like other individuals in my life and kind of the perceptions that they have of me and my actions and the perceptions that I have of them and their actions. And, you know, maybe I hurt you, maybe you hurt me, but let's try to look at this from a bird's eye point of view.
So let's move on to the title track.
Coping Mechanism. This one wasn't planned, actually. I thought the album was done. And me and Chris kind of got together again, Chris Griotti, who produced the album with me. We kind of got together and was like, oh, what do we do? Like we're kind of vibing so hard. Like what's the next step? And I was just like, let's just do something random. Like we're always working so hard with such an intention. Like let's just like do something random. And that ended up being the title track. And I really, really love the first couple lines of that song. Fun fact, I'm so sick of myself. My mind is a breeding ground for unhealth. The walls are talking and the voices in my head are screaming out loud. So I feel like that song was just kind of like a personification of my emotional state at that time. Like I'm in so much pain. I need to find a coping mechanism.
Track 6, Split.
Split. Okay, Split. It's so interesting. Have you ever seen the movie Split? Okay, so this guy just has so many different personalities, and he's just like, he's always just going from like the most extreme thing to like this like British lady sometimes, and like he's just going through all these different things. And that song, kind of dark. It was kind of a expression of like when you just get a little too fucked up and you just start you just split. You just start acting a little. Your traumas come out and stuff just doesn't come out right. The first line of that song. I tried. I know I said I'd fix it all, but then I drank and smoked too much, just like I always do. Yeah. So.
Hover like a goddess, and goddess is in all caps.
Yes, hover like a goddess. Wow. So I've never written a song that was like sexy, fun, cool, like sexy, and I kind of wanted to challenge myself to try to write like a sexy song, which is not really something I do.
Why was that something you avoided before, or why hadn't done before?
I don't know. I feel like everyone tries to write sexy songs. I don't know. It just seems like something everyone tries to do. But I tried to come at it from a different angle. Like, you know, you're hovering like a goddess, and I just want to please you. You're just a beautiful goddess, you know. And yeah, I just tried to come at it from that point of view.
How did you what was your comfort level doing a song like that? What were your comfort? I don't know if that's one of the songs you've performed while you've been testing out some of these songs.
I'm going to perform that today.
Is it one of the songs you've been doing when you've been like kind of playing some of the songs from this album with Machine Gun Kelly?
Actually, that song came out like in the middle of the tour. Okay. And I did it anyway because I was just like, why not? But I just love women. And and I just think they're the best. I just think they're the best creations. Yes. And I just needed to make a song to fully express that.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear you play it later.
Thank you.
So moving on, the next track is You Are a Stranger.
Yes, You're a Stranger. So this song is pure heartbreak. Just unadulterated heartbreak. Is that the right word? Adulterated, unadulterated, what is it? Yeah, I said that right? Okay. I'm like, I don't want to look stupid. But just heartbreak, like, you know, when you're in love with someone and you're together and you feel like you know them so well, and then you just don't know them so well. So that, we all know what that's like. Lots of pain. Yeah.
Perfectly Not Close to Me. You did this with Eve Toomer, and I'm a big fan of Eve. Only
so
recently
excited.
Discovered Eve, like last year.
Really?
Yeah,
really.
at the Pitchfork Festival in Chicago.
He is so amazing.
Yeah.
He is one of my favorite artists of all time. Another, you know, amazing rock star of color. And I feel like with my albums, you know, lately I Feel Everything, I kind of did a lot more features than I ever have. Mm-hmm. I like my features to be very intentful. Not intentful. Jeez, I can't talk. Intentional. Thank you. I like my features to be very...
I like intentful. I think that sounds good.
Man, yeah, I'm at the Grammy Museum. I'm nervous. But I like my features to be very intentional. And, you know, on my self-titled album, Willow, I only had my brother on that album. And that was kind of just like me saying, you know what? This is my flesh and blood, and I just love him so much, and that was kind of just like, I don't know, I felt like it was a statement to just have your brother as the only feature on that album. And then for Coping Mechanism, to have such a beautiful artist that I feel like is such an agent of change and is pushing the culture in such an amazing way, for him to be the one feature, I was just like, this is it. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to say. So I'm just so grateful he even wanted to do it, because I feel like at first I was like, he's gonna think I'm lame. but he was so compassionate and creative, and it was just amazing.
How did the two of you meet, or how did that come together?
Him and Chris Griotti are actually on tour right now. They're playing a lot of shows together. Chris plays guitar for him, so they're really, really good friends. And while me and Chris were recording, Chris was like, we need to get Eve's Toomer in here to like vibe it out with us. And I was like, yeah, but do you think he's gonna like me?
Is it Eve or Eve's?
Eve's Toomer.
It's with the S.
Yeah,
I'm nervous
I think
as
so.
well.
I think so. Someone tell me. I think it's Eve's Toomer. I call him by his real name. I don't know if he wants anyone to know it, but yeah.
Either way. So No Control is the next track on this record.
No Control. It's so interesting because Split and No Control are the two slow songs on the album, and they're both kind of they're both kind of just sad drunk songs. Like they're both like, oh, I got drunk and I'm just so sad about my life and every single thing that's going on. So I think they're pretty similar on the intention. Yeah.
And then the final track is Batshit, all caps with an exclamation point.
Yes. That shit really was just an expression of me not wanting to fall in love again. I think, on the chorus, I wish I could just hear it right now because all of the lyrics are just swirling in my head. But one of the lyrics is like what you're saying, you think what you're saying is cute, but I'm not trying to hear it. Like I'm not trying to hear all the lovey-dovey. Oh, I love you. Let's so and so and so. I'm just batshit crazy. I'm trying to go batshit crazy. And so that was really I wanted that to be the end because the production is just so insane. It's super fun. It's like one of the most fun songs I've ever recorded, just in the like chord progression and the way that it sounds. The darkness isn't really as dark on that one. I feel like it's more light. But yeah, I just didn't want to fall in love again, and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm just trying to go batshit crazy. Don't try to love me. So yeah.
So let's talk. You've mentioned Chris Griotti. Am I pronouncing that right? Chris Griotti.
Yes.
Was he or is he in Blame Candy? That's Chris from Blame Candy, the band. I think.
Maybe.
Well, I know he's worked with Youngblood. And
Yes.
He's worked with Pussy Riot and Poppy.
Yes.
And I think he's worked with Blink 182.
The album that he did with Poppy. Yo. Literally some of the best music I've ever heard. I just had to put that out there. Yeah.
So how did the two of you get together to work on this record? You and Chris.
Yes. So Youngblood was like, "Hey, we should do a song together," and I was like, "I'm there. Whatever time. Tell me the time. Tell me the moment." And he told me the time. He told me the moment. I showed up, and Chris was there. And we were vibing, and it was just such a beautiful, just like musical flow between the three of us. Mm-hmm. And I could tell that him and Chris were really close, and he knew him so well, and they had a really great friendship. And just seeing Chris and him be so natural together in the studio, I was like, yo, this is so amazing. Like, I want to flow like this. So I got his number. I was like, let's vibe out. Let's do whatever. And we got in the studio, and I'm pretty sure the first song we did was Why. And I kept telling him, oh, I'm not making an album. Like, it's not time yet. Like, I just want to vibe it out. And then we made the second song, which was Maybe It's My Fault. And I said, I think I gotta make an album. I think it's time for us to make an album. So that was how we met.
And do you think this is? I mean, you might even be looking ahead to the next album with given the rapidness of what you're working on. Like, are you think you guys going to work together again? Is this a partnership?
Yes. Me and Chris are definitely going to work together again. I have, during the time that we were recording, I was recording a lot of different music with, some other producers as well. And I decided not to put them on the album because I was like, this is such a cohesive body of work. But I have a bunch of other songs that I'm thinking about putting on the deluxe of this album. Yes. And I've never done a deluxe, but I have enough albums that I feel like it would make, not albums, I have enough songs, new songs that I feel like would make sense to do a deluxe. So that's probably going to be the next step.
Well, in terms of that cohesiveness you're talking about, is there a through line through this record, either thematically? I don't know if it's a concept album per se, but is there something that connects all of these 11 songs and maybe some of the deluxe songs?
Yes, I think an existential dread connects all the songs. Just a deep existential, just really deep in there. And I feel like from existential dread can come some of the most beautiful gifts that we've ever seen. I think, humanity, the feats of the human soul and the human heart are so beautiful, and we really only get to see them when things aren't the best. And I feel like that's a tragic but also a beautiful thing. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I do hear actually. I hear a lot of joy on this record. It's not a depressing record by any means.
No, it's not a depressing record. I don't think sadness needs to be depressing. I think sadness is an expression of ourselves in such a beautiful way. I think we push it away so much, and I don't feel like we should. I feel like we should accept it, and I feel like we should honor it. We should honor our sadness, and we should honor our anger, and we should honor our discomfort, because it's a part of us too. And we should honor our joy, and we should honor our compassion, and honor our connectedness, because that's also a part of us. It's all, I see it all as a beautiful whole picture.
What about anger? Obviously, they're screaming on this record.
Lots
and,
of anger.
when we talk about pushback with women in rock, women in historically are told not to be angry. I remember
Yes,
like
and
when
specifically black women.
Yeah.
But you know what?
When Khalees's Caught Out Here came out, I don't know if you would remember that, but that was her screaming, "I hate you so much
Yeah.
right now." She got a lot of shit for that when that song.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, she's crazy,"
Yeah.
Alanis, just to name another
Oh,
woman. When
man.
You Ought to Know came out,
I
people were
love
like,
it.
"Oh, she's boiling bunnies. It's Fatal Attraction." Like people
I
don't
think-
like it when women are angry in music.
Yeah, I think first of all, women have a lot to be angry about. Let's start there. We really haven't been treated the best by society since basically the beginning, and I think that we hold such a beautiful gift that is to see life from a perspective that isn't an entitled perspective. And I think that allows us to create art that truly changes the way people feel and changes the way people think, because we're not coming from it from a perspective of like, oh yeah, like we got this, like we got it in the bag. We're like, no, like I have something to say, and I really think it's important, and I feel like I really want to change people's lives, and I want to say something about reality that maybe hasn't been said before.
Are there any female artists, past or present, that inspire you in your own music that you'd like to mention?
Definitely Sister Rosetta Tharpe. I have to start there. Napalm from Hiatus Coyote. One of the most amazing guitarists and vocalists ever. I love the Nova Twins. They're actually playing in LA tonight. Maybe I know, right? I'm just gonna run over there right after this. But yeah, so those are a few of my favorite female artists.
Awesome. So obviously, besides those women inspiring you, we were talking about how your mother and Wicked Wisdom inspired you. And I forgot to ask you about when they reunited and you sang Bleed All Over Me with them. Because the look on your mother's face, I mean, she was so proud. I need to ask you about that moment. It must have been so special.
Oh, man. I think seeing me sing that song, I mean, that song in itself has so many layers of emotional just hurt and anger and, existential dread. I think that's where I got it from. But just hearing me sing it, I feel like she just got to see herself in a different way and got to see herself through me. And I feel like sometimes we can't see ourselves, we can't see our beauty until someone is like, hey, look, like you're freaking amazing, like you're awesome. And I think me singing that and kind of showing her my gratitude for, all of the experiences and the literal life that she gave me, I just feel like it touched her where I wanted it to.
That's amazing. It touched people who saw it and watched it online. So
Thank you.
I'm very excited to hear you do a few songs from Coping Mechanism in just a few minutes, as we all are.
Thank you.
I mentioned that you were touring with Machine Gun Kelly, and were you road testing some of these songs, and how were they being received?
Ooh,
how were you in
man.
general being received, opening for him?
I think less about how people react to it and more about how well I sang it. Because sometimes I don't sing it well and people love it and people are going crazy. And sometimes I sing it really well and nobody cares. So I think I really try to focus on my technique, my vocal technique, and how accurately I sang it and how well it flowed and how much emotion was there. And that was definitely trial and error. When I perform new songs, I'm always so nervous, and I'm always like, oh my goodness, like I hope this translates. I hope I can sing it the way I sang it on the track, or better. So I feel like there were some nights where that happened, and I was super, super proud of that. And there were some nights where that didn't happen. And you know what? That's what being an artist is. And we're human. We're not going to be perfect all the time. And that's kind of what's beautiful about it.
Well, as I mentioned, you're going to be on Saturday Night Live the weekend that your record comes out. I mean, you were already on SNL earlier this year with Camila Cabello?
I wasn't expecting to be on SNL twice in 1 year, 5 months apart. I'm so grateful for that. Oh, man. Another tear was shed, multiple.
So what can we expect from you now performing, under your own name as a solo artist on SNL in just a couple weeks?
You can expect thevibe.com. And you can expect a new song, lots of screaming, very metal, but also a song that you do know that I'm going to be performing tonight as well. So a balance. It's going to be a balance.
All right. Well, I think that is a great way to end this and
thank you.
Get me off the stage
thank you so much.
Can do that. So thank you so much. This has been a real treat. I'm going to get off the stage and let you do your thing, thevibe.com.
I love you. I feel so tall. This is crazy. I hope I don't knock everything down when I perform. It's okay. I know. I'm just like ah.